So, hello everyone. Been a little bit of a while since I last did a video for YouTube. I think the last one I did was before I went on holiday to Mexico at the end of the rebound. So, a little recap on what's happened since then. Went on a 2-week all-inclusive holiday to Mexico. So, as you can imagine, that was a lot of eating, a lot of drinking. And then I come back and had my recovery phase over Christmas. So, obviously got to see a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of eating out, a lot of pigging out. So yeah, and then when it came to the new year, I don't want to sound like New Year, New Me's, but I think unless you're on a competition prep, you can't afford to have the social occasions over Christmas. And if it does motivate you, come January 1st, January 2nd, then just use it. I know I've got zero inclination right now to eat chocolate. Like honestly, our cupboard's still got a load of chocolate. I just got no cravings for it at all. So yeah, so a little bit of a explanation about this video. So I'm going to talk about the off season. So today's Tuesday. I technically started the off season yesterday, Monday 17th of January. So I finished the competitions, had a rebound phase, had a holiday, had a recovery phase, and it seems everything's going over pretty good at the moment. So now's a good time to start the off season. I put a little posing video in, but yeah, not looking super fat, which is great. Relatively lean. Body weight sitting around 235 pounds at the moment, which is around about 107 kilos. So yeah, and it's kind of stayed there for nearly 2 weeks now, pretty much since I've just been, back on plan, eating all the meals, doing all the training as scheduled. Daily routine at the moment, get up to 25 minutes of cardio. I've got 6 meals a day. It's about 4,900 calories on a training day, and I think about 4,300, 4,400 on a non-training day. I'd have to double check that. So yeah, there's a little bit of difference between how much food I eat on a training day and a non-training day, and that's normally just in carbohydrates, just slightly less carbs towards the end of the day on a non-training day. Pretty much meals 1 through 5 are the same, and then it's just the 6th meal that changes. And obviously on a training day, I also have a post-workout shake, which has got a little bit of carbs in, that little bit of extra protein. So yeah, blood's done last week, so I'm waiting for the results of them. And I had an ECG as well at the blood lab, just to make sure that my heart function is all good. And at first glance, Chris thought it was looking good. So it's nice to know, just have that peace of mind that when someone's looking into the heart, because obviously it goes under a lot of stress when you do bodybuilding, regardless of whether you're an amateur or a first timer or a professional. There's going to be stress there because you're lifting heavy weight, you're putting in a lot of food, your blood pressure's going up and up and up because of how much stress you're putting the body under, how much, if you're not drinking enough water, or if you're drinking, if you're putting not enough salt in, or you're going too much for salt, it all has an impact. So the more consistent you can be with those variables, the better it can be on your overall health. And I think, over the last few years working with Andy, whenever I've gone and got my bloods done, they've generally speaking improved each time, just from not only being consistent with all those variables, but all the health supplements alongside of everything as well. So yeah, to the off season. So why should anyone care and want to hear about my off season? And this is the reason. This is the reason you should care. So at the moment, I'm a relatively okay classic amateur bodybuilder at the moment. And then this off season going forward, I want to build a pro physique, which means that the next time I compete, I want to be turning professional, and that's professional in the IFBB. So me and Andy have spoken about shows, and I think last week we kind of landed on a firm plan. I've spoken with my fiance now, fiance Emily, with it about it as well, and she's happy for it as well, because you always need the girls for admission. But the plan is to do the Arnold UK 2023. So I'm going to get some redemption, and I want to go in and win that show. and not just win my class, win the overall, turn pro, compete at the pro show that night. That's the goal. And I'm aiming big. I'm aiming big. I've stood on that shit stage before. I've had that feeling of being on that stage. I've had that feeling of losing on that stage, and I've got something to prove about it. So I think last year was my first competitive season, and I did pretty well. So I'm aiming high. I was second in Britain in the PCA. I won a couple of regionals. So I'm aiming big. I'm aiming big. So that means that the off season now is going to be treated pretty religiously. So how are we going to achieve that? How are we going to go from being an okay amateur to a professional? And that's just going to be consistency. So doing every single task that you should be doing as a professional, day in, day out, whether it comes to your cardio, your posing routine, training the things that you don't want to train, like your abs and your calves, health supplements, things like basic things like getting your bloods done, and then all the training sessions as well. Not just training as hard as possible, because obviously that is a big factor in it, but using the body's feedback to create the best plan going forward for more optimal training. And I kind of hate it when people overcomplicate things. They use optimal, blah, blah, blah. And most of the time it's because people don't want to do the fucking hard work. Okay, that is absolutely not what I'm saying here. I'm not trying to skip out on any really hard work. But you've got to recognise that for your body to be able to be at 100% every session, it's going to be important to listen to the body's feedback between sessions, during sessions, after sessions, and does it impact your sleep? Does it impact your hydration? How the mechanics of the body are moving, doing certain movements. Are you actually stimulating the muscle? Are you able to contract it as hard as possible? What's your ATP like? Yeah, all those kind of things. So I'm just going to be a bit more meticulous with using the body's feedback to kind of determine how to continue to train at 100%. Not just train at 100% until something breaks. Keep training at 100% throughout the, it won't be 12-month off season. It'll be something like a 15-month off season, which is a long time to be pushing hard in the gym, pushing weight up, getting stronger. So that's why you should care. So the initial setting out for the off season, I've already said about the foods, 4,900 calories on a training day, and I think 4,344 on a non-training day. Split across 6 meals, and a little post-workout shake on a training day. I'll go into some more specifics about the pre, intra, and post-training nutrition on another video. I'll do like a kind of more vloggy stuff, and I'll probably do like a full day of eating to show everyone what I'm eating, because I'm currently off work a little bit, so I can actually do it. But I won't be for very long, so I should probably rattle stuff out whilst I've got the chance to. Training wise, so what's training wise? So that's obviously a lot of people's biggest questions when it comes to putting on muscle and size, especially if people are trying to establish, there's so many schools of thought about volume versus frequency versus intensity, and people have a lot of questions about what they should do. So I'm quite fortunate in that, obviously, I've been training for 12 and a half years, so I kind of know what works for my body now. I know its movement patterns, so I've got a good idea of what will work and what doesn't work. So the setup we're currently going for, previously in the rebound I was just doing 1 working set per exercise. It is now pretty much across the board gone up to 2 working sets per exercise. And some of them are straight sets, so I might do a heavy set of 5 to 9. And then the back off set might be a set of 10 to 12, that kind of thing. That is a general principle that we use quite a lot. Then that's for some of the exercises. Some others will have an intensifier as the second set. So the intensifiers will be using cluster sets, also known as a muscle round. If you've ever heard that before and getting confused, they're the same thing. Basically, you're doing a set amount of sets and reps with a predetermined rest period between them. So if you're doing 4 sets of 4, because I'll do that a few times in this program, with 15 seconds rest. So on that first set, I could probably, do 8 reps. Say I was doing a leg press, and I could probably do 8 reps. But I'm stopping at 4, resting for 15 seconds, doing another 4, resting for 15 seconds. Normally it's when you get to that third set that it starts to be a bit brutal. And then obviously you rest for 15 seconds and do that last 4. So that's the general principle, is that you're picking a weight. Normally you want to kind of pick a weight that's like, say it's 4x5. You want to pick a weight that you can do roughly half to just over half of those reps within a straight set. So if it's 4x5, you're doing 20 total reps. So I might pick an exercise where I can do 12 reps with that weight, and instead I'll do 4x5, so I end up doing 20 reps with that weight. So we're exposing the body to that kind of heavy stimulus more often. So that's one example. Another one is rest pause. So repping out with a weight, putting it down, resting for it again a predetermined amount of time, picking it back up, repping out again, put it down, rest for a predetermined amount of time, picking up and carry on, and so on and so forth. So so obviously how that differs to a cluster set, you're sticking to a set amount of reps per set, whereas a rest pause, you're maxing out each time. So you might do 12 reps on the first one, rest for 20 seconds, then 5, then rest for 20 seconds, then 3, then rest for 20 seconds, then maybe like 1 with an assisted or something like that. Yeah, so another one is a drop set. Everyone knows drop set, don't really have to say much about it. You strip the weight down, you carry on repping out until failure, strip it down, rep until failure, strip it down, rep until failure. And then we're also using some time under tension principles. So more often than not, Andy has been doing a lot of things where he'll do time under tension on the drops. So he might put, say, a bicep curl in there, and you do your standard set of 12 to 15. Then when you hit failure, drop the weight down a little bit, and then that's when he'll put some time under tension stuff in. So I might curl up and have a 5-second negative, and then do that till failure. Then I might drop it again, and then instead might do a 5-second positive, and do that to failure, and then maybe the static. So that's an extreme example. I don't have any of that at the moment, and this is probably a little takeaway for anyone trying to plan a bulk or wants to put on a lot of muscle, is don't throw every single intensifier or every single thing in there at the beginning. Right, give yourself room to continue to add stuff down the line when you start to plateau, or if you want to increase the food, you want to increase the metabolic demand from training, that kind of thing. So that's why I've got a lot of back-off sets at the moment are just straight sets. They're just standard run-of-the-mill 10 to 12, and then it's probably, say I'm doing 8 exercises per workout, it's probably about 3 to 4 of them at the moment might have an intensifier, and do the 4 or 5 will just be a straight set as the second one. So but what that does then, that gives us room to make the intensifiers even more intense, like doing additional drops, additional time under tension, shortening rest periods on rest pause, blah blah blah, or to just add more intensifiers into the workout in general, like removing a back off set that's a straight set, and instead adding in maybe a rest pause or something like that. So yeah, that's a starting point there when it comes to training, how training volumes changed in terms of the structure. So for my rebound, I was doing push, pull, arms, legs, which is a great split, but Andy's determined to improve my weaknesses. So as am I. So now the split is a bro split: chest, back, shoulders, legs, arms, and then on chest day there's some additional bicep work, and on shoulder day there's some additional tricep work. So obviously my arms are a weakness for me, glaringly obvious weakness from certain shots like a double bicep. So we need to improve them a lot. So we need to give them more stimulus. So being able to train them, you know, have their own day, and the additional training of them on a chest day for biceps and a shoulder day for triceps when they're not super fatigued. Then being exposed to stimulus is more frequently will give more frequent chances for hypertrophy I don't know how you say that word. Hypertrophy? I never know which one is correct. Hypertrophy? I don't know. Fuck. Doesn't matter. I can write it. I can spell it. Anyway, yeah, so that's the general idea. Likewise, if you've got great arms but you've got shit back, do the same with back. You might have backs on its own day, then you might do some back with on like a hamstring day or something like that, just to give them the more you expose any body part to stimulus, the more you're given it a chance to repair. But likewise, if you expose it to too much of a stimulus, for it to be able to recover fully by the next session, then you know you're no longer being optimal about your training. So I can use that annoying word again. So yes, that basically wraps up off-season plans. So September, October 2023, Arnold UK Pro Classic winner. That's the goal. So if you're interested in seeing how I'm going to go from an amateur to a pro level physique, then please watch the following videos, and hopefully you can take something away from that. Or if you're just intrigued to see if I even do, and you might be like, you know what, you're not going to be able to do it, then keep watching, and I'm gonna prove you wrong, because I'm very excited to get after these goals, and I'm very consistent with the work I put in, and I've stepped forward a lot in the last 2 years, and I'm going to continue to step forward, and I'm going to continue to do it at a faster rate, because there's not going to be fucking lockdowns in the way this time. So me and Andy, when I ran an off season together, we did like 8 weeks in 2020. That was the longest consistent period of time that we did it in a surplus. So so what we're going to be able to do over 14 to 15 months is going to be pretty dramatic. So yeah, but anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see any more, or if you've got any suggestions for any videos that you'd like to see, or if you want me to talk about anything, please let me know in the comments, or shoot me a DM on Instagram, or whatever way. Or if I get no comments, then I'll just sit and cry. So just leave something. I won't really. Anyway, thank you very much. See you later, guys.